Two. And welcome back. How are we getting on, fellas?
How you doing, Ken? Great to have you
I'm
on
doing.
today.
How are you guys doing?
Pretty well.
Pretty damn happy.
Good.
So
Good.
today we're joined by Ken Cage from Airplane Repo. Definitely a unique show. Uh, I guess my first question is, how does one get into that kind of occupation?
It's funny. Nothing in my career path has ever made any sense. So this just follows right along with it. Honestly, me and a friend of mine, since we were young, we were just kind of discontent in our lives at the age of 40 years old. And we're like, you got to do something different here. Like, take our chance and do it on our own. We looked at over 100 different companies, everything from beer distributors to golf courses, all that kind of stuff. And this was the only one, honestly, the only one that made any sense to us. So we bought the business. That's how we got in.
And I find that fascinating because to you it makes sense. Uh, but I guess there's a job for everything. Someone's got to do it. But it must be rough sometimes. You're pulling up and you. I don't know what the legality is like in the states for that kind of stuff. Like, must be pretty difficult to keep up with it.
Well, it's funny because with us, there aren't a lot of rules, believe it or not. We can't carry weapons, which makes it obviously a challenge when the other guy has one and we don't. Yeah, we can't do any breaking and entering. So you'll never see me cutting locks, jumping fences, stuff like that. For hangars and things like that, we can't. Now, if the airplane's outside, yeah, I can pick the locks, I can do whatever. But you can't break into a house, you can't break into a garage or a hangar, and we can't breach the peace, which is funny because when we were filming, you know, I literally can't get in a fight, and that's why Danny's there as the bodyguard. For those that don't know, Danny Thompson is my partner on the show, and he's always there as my bodyguard because as a bodyguard, he can do whatever.
Can he
So we
carry a
did.
weapon?
He's still not allowed to carry a weapon. Nobody's allowed to have a weapon on a repo.
Yeah,
Um,
even like just, I think it's the Second Amendment. You can just carry a gun. What's the story there? Like, how come that's taken away in repo?
because in Florida, where we're licensed and where the office is and everything else, um, they had. You can imagine if you've watched Miami Vice, it was obviously a little bit of an exaggeration
Hmm.
on what was actually happening. That's when all the repo laws were written, and they found that when a repo agent had a weapon, they were obviously much more likely to use it, and issues escalated really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So they said, yeah, it is your Second Amendment right. However, if you want to maintain this repossession license in the state of Florida, which carries a lot of weight, you can't have a weapon on a
Hmm.
repo. You can have it off the repo, away from the repo, but when you're actually on the repo, you can't have it with you. So um,
Hmm.
that's the Florida rule. If I do carry on a repo, then I lose my license.
Yeah, but that kind of draws into question the self defense part of it. Like you said, like your man could have a gun, and that'd be pretty dodgy. You're trying to take the guy's plane, and he pulls something on you. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Supposed to de-escalate the situation. That's what
Yeah.
they expect to do. So truthfully, the law says we can't breach the peace, which means we can't even legally get into a shouting match. Now that's
Come on.
everybody subjective, right? Everybody can consider it a different level, but we're supposed to try and de-escalate all the situation.
And
Now,
have you ever been put in a situation like that?
I'm sorry.
Were you ever in a situation where you had a weapon pulled on you or while trying to?
We've been shot at a couple times. Um, People have shown us weapons, or done the pulling up the shirt thing to show us they have it to try and intimidate us. I mean, we've been chased around the airfields with people swinging shovels at us. I got hit by a car trying to block us from the airplane. So I mean, we've been shown a lot of weapons. We've been threatened with weapons. We've been chased with weapons, but so far it's worked out okay. Thank goodness.
Yeah, takes balls. Takes balls.
Well,
It's something you don't always see
it,
in the states.
probably right. We've done international stuff, but in my experience, the ones I've done are they're a lot different. Because for me, when I go out of the states, I just go to the local police station and say, "Hey, here's all my paperwork, here's my licenses." Get everything cleared with them first, and then I'm usually able to to go do what I need to do. I had one case, we were in the Bahamas, did that. The cops were like, I want to see how this works. And they actually came with us on the repo and just sat on the back of the boat, just chilling. So, you give them a little thank you for their help, maybe fill up the fuel on their chase boats and stuff like that, and they're thrilled with it. So, but the states, they can't assist us or support us in any way.
That's kind of weird. It really is like you're on your own, buddy, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's considered a civil matter. So, like, I can't call the police to say, hey, can you help me here? Or, that's one thing that the guy who did the first couple episodes got in trouble for doing that. For asking for them to be there and present as though they were supporting the repossession. Well, the police aren't allowed to do that at all. Yeah. It's a civil matter. Just tell them what you're doing. They'll record it, and then that's about the extent of it.
So, in this occupation, how do you normally go about getting work? Like, do you have one main source, or are you like going out looking for them?
We're all over the place. Every bank who does lending of boats and airplanes is a potential client. Aviation attorneys, maritime attorneys, government agencies. Like we've done work for all of those people. We actually had the U.S. Department of Justice airplane contract and boat contract simultaneously for 7 straight years. So it comes from every different angle. But yeah, we never have enough business, and right now it's just really slow.
Yeah, I figure there's not many lads going out there trying to get a plane right now.
No, the banks. It's funny because most people are like assuming with as bad as the economy has been that there would be a lot of repos, but honestly, right now there's none because the banks. It's really marketing wise, it looks really, really bad to send somebody out to repossess an asset when everybody's out of work, like they are. So they've as a result of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So as a result, they've pulled back and said basically to people, if you answer the phone, we're going to extend your loan, no questions asked. So we haven't had many repos in the last year at all.
Yeah. It gets weird when a bank is looking at it from a marketing point of view. It's a bit odd, Like, you get away for it now.
You're right. It's unexpected because people just assume the banks are heartless. But in this situation, like I said, we had one bank that told us September, October that they had a huge number, thousands of their loans are past due and ready for repo. But they said they were calling every single debtor. And if they just picked up the phone, they were going to extend them. No questions asked. So that's kind of where they are right now. Now, when this pandemic kind of clears away a little bit more and life gets back to normal a little bit more, I think at that point, the number of repos will be just like even more than 2010.
Yeah. I mean, great opportunity for a lad like yourself. But speaking of opportunity, when it became a TV show, how did that whole process come about? Like, did they approach you? You approached them?
So as is my normal life here, nothing went according to plan at all. I actually, when the economy kind of spun here in the States in 08, 09, I started getting interviews from different groups, smaller companies like Voice of America did a piece on us. Then we got to Inside Edition. The London Mirror did a piece on us. And then from that, it came to the Wall Street Journal found out about us and then put it on the front page. And there's the article there. So we were on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. From there, we had about 200 television producers reach out to try and do a show with us. We were taken to Discovery by the producer we had at the time, and they gave me a contract to do the show by myself. The problem is, the guy who did the first 3 episodes was with Craig Peligian, who is the biggest reality television producer in the world and was at that time, did Dirty Jobs, American Choppers, like all those big shows you saw back then. And basically Craig went in, who is now our producer, and Craig went in and said, either you do the show with my guy or I'm not bringing you any more shows. So Discovery called me and said, Ken, I know we gave you a contract to do this show, but you're not going to do it. So we are out. 2 years later, obviously the show with the other guy didn't work out. So 2 years later, they called me and said, hey, we're ready to do the show. We want to have you on it. And they then got the producers from Deadliest Catch, which is why you see kind of the same format as Deadliest Catch.
Yeah.
Deadliest Catch goes from this boat to this boat over here, then back to this. Well, that's what they do with us. So we kind of follow that same format as Deadliest Catch.
Yeah. I guess on that network, they all kind of stick to the same format anyway.
It's a copycat business.
Mm.
And, obviously when you have a producer that was really successful, like the ones we worked with the first 2 seasons with Deadliest Catch. I mean, even the first season, we had Mike Rose, our voiceover person from Deadliest Catch. So they followed that to a T. People got to liking having the 3 different teams in 3 different locations doing 3 different things. So they just stuck with the format. And now we're with, our last season was with Pilgrim, which is, they're just the best. They're so good. They're so creative. They're top notch. They do great work. So the last season was with them. And if we ever do anything else again, it'll be with them.
And what do you attribute the success of the show to?
I think because it's high energy. It is, like you said, it's a niche kind of market.
A niche? That's such an understatement. It's so tiny. There's probably 4 people in the world doing this job.
Yeah, it is. Our group, and there's one other group that does yachts, and some other people say they do it, but they don't really do it. So it's really, really small. So people like to get kind of behind the scenes of what we do, since nobody really can see it or knows what we do. The other thing is, people still like that Robin Hood effect. They do not mind seeing the rich guy get his butt handed to him a little bit. And since we're the ones that take their assets, people just sit at home like, good, I'm glad that rich son of a gun got what he had coming to him. So between the adrenaline, the excitement, and then the rich guy losing every week, I think that combination has worked well for us.
You could even see that this year with the stock market, where a couple of billionaires lost out on a couple of billion because of people buying GameStop or
Robin Hood.
AMC or Robin Hood. Oh man, that app, that was such a shame.
They're dodgy fuckers.
Mm.
They're fairly dodgy.
But, I grew up on Robin Hood Lane. Can you believe that?
Oh wow!
There you go.
Isn't that ironic?
We're made for this job, Ken.
Yeah.
A little bit.
If there's any proof we're in a simulation, it's that.
Yes.
But what was I going to say? Yeah, well, the whole Robin Hood effect, we've seen that a lot recently. But when it came to that show, what do you attribute it to? Was it kind of like the whiny reactions of some people, the heated bits of it, or?
I think we captured enough of that kind of a petulant, entitled, rich attitude.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We've all seen it before. There's a lot of really wealthy people that are good people, that try and use that wealth in that situation to make things better. There's also a lot that are just they're that stereotype. So
it's a shame that it happens.
Yeah.
But...
And we captured enough of those people that I think the viewers, we gave them a bit of self-satisfaction sitting in their living room saying, good, that son of a gun, he got his. Ken and Danny got that plane. Good, that guy can walk home and stuff like that. Yeah, they like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very relevant to the Robin Hood effect. I don't know how much you followed the stock market thing, like Thomas was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was pure carnage. It was just people were not having it, and they still aren't.
It's funny because the biggest reactions I see are the fact that all the rich fat cats are banding together because to protect the rich fat cats that lost money, and that's really irritating a lot of the common people here, because wait, why does the common Joe, he made money finally, and the rich guy lost? Why are we protecting the rich guy? When do you protect us? Kind of thing. So it almost, for a little bit, created a little bit of a clash, in that way.
And there's always these advertisements for all these trading apps saying, you got to start trading today But as soon as
Yeah.
people started trading together, it was like, stop that. Come on now. Have a bit
Yep.
of
Why
have a
don't
bit of
poor
cop
people
on, will
just
you? Just
yeah? Why don't poor people just trade or just invest? And they do it and
If,
like, wait, no.
if
Um,
all their buddies didn't sell short, it wouldn't have been a problem.
mm,
But because they bet the other way and they all lost, that's why it became a huge problem,
yeah.
in my opinion,
Mm,
from what I saw.
I share the opinion. When yeah, it's kind of crazy when when that went on. You seen lads looking for regulation on the market, and like these are people who would never, ever want that kind of stuff going on, but because
Yep.
they were losing so much, you know, and even breaking the law, you know, was better for them to do than to actually like lose the money. Like that's how much they were losing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of Americans were like, good,
Mm,
good. Let those rich son of a guns
yeah.
know what it's like. I mean, because, in America, we have a lot of people that have lost businesses and lost a ton because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
I think there's, again, that same Robin Hood effect where the normal Joes are like, good, good. I'm glad they finally felt a little bit of something that we've been feeling for a year.
Mm,
oh, yeah. And
yeah.
how's COVID been like where you are at the moment? Are you in a lockdown? Are you free to do what you want kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm in Philly. So Pennsylvania's been, we've been locked down pretty good almost since the beginning. We're coming up on a year where our kids haven't been in schools. I think we're up to 50% capacity, but every time there's a holiday, they just shut us down completely. So, it's been really tough here. Florida is more open, and that's where the office is, but it's tough to get down there because travel is so difficult.
Well, at least on like a more positive note, we're seeing like globally it's going down. So we may get back to normal soon.
Well, it's funny because the one thing I can tell you is that, again, because I don't do anything normal, because the repos have been slowing down and we haven't really had much business, we were introduced to some people. And then from that, we've developed a UVC light. And what it's proven to kill, or not kill, it's proven to eradicate COVID in under a second. So we have a handheld light that you can use. And it's right here. It's next to me. This light here eradicates COVID in a second.
You tell us a bit
Anyway.
more about that thing?
Yeah, it's called the Hurricane, and I'm endorsing it because some people I know, again, invented it. It's 900 watts in a 5-inch circle, so it's incredibly powerful. You can use it on surfaces, in the air, anywhere. You can clean a whole 747, disinfect it completely in about 12 minutes. It's good for anything: offices, schools, gyms, movie theaters, restaurants, all of it. So we're trying to get it out there to make sure that people have a way to get back to normal. We started because of aviation, right? And we were talking to a international, $1 billion company because they wanted it for aviation. But then we started talking to some charter yacht companies, and they were canceling 200,000 a week charters left and right because of COVID. We took our light in, were able to prove that it was disinfected, and we were able to save over $3 million in charters in less than a month. So,
Not bad.
yeah, I mean, now we didn't make the 3 million.
No,
Yeah,
but
but they were able to make that money that they had already booked and planned for. So now these charter companies are able to continue. So we're trying to get the word out. Everybody, every international scientist and company that we've dealt with says it's the right product at the right time.
Yeah.
It's a handheld thing, ACDC, international sales. So hopefully we can get it out there and get people back to normal. And then for the next virus that comes out, but there's going to be another one. Some are saying in 2023, we've got a tool that can kind of keep us ahead of it so we don't have to go through this again.
And remind us what it's called.
It's called the Hurricane. And the name of the company that's manufacturing and selling it's called the Platinum Group out of Boca Raton, Florida.
okay.
And I'm assuming like it probably had to go through a lot of testing before they were allowed like say that kind of stuff. I'm not sure how marketing works in the United States. Like I know like the false advertising here is like a big no. So I don't know how much testing did they have to do like.
So the original light we had was tested by the National Institutes of Health and the FDA. And then we took that light and that technology and we made it into a handheld because every company we dealt with said we can't use this. It was a 30-pound unit. So it was just too much. So we took that technology that was approved, shrunk it down into a 5-inch circle, made it 10 pounds, and now you can handheld it and carry it around. So it's 5 times more powerful than the light that was proven to eradicate COVID by the NIH and FDA. We've taken it to universities. They've proven it. It's funny, in the U.S., the marketing is different. Let's just say that. The liquid disinfectants, for example, all have pesticides in them. Did you know that?
That's really concerning.
The sprays, if you look it up, I mean, I'm not going to mention companies because it's not any single company, and I'm not trying to get on any company, but like one ingredient you'll see a lot is called benzalkonium chloride. Well, benzalkonium has benzene, which is a class A carcinogen, and it's on all kinds of lists of toxins, developmental toxins, like if you're pregnant or have young kids, it shouldn't be around them. Well, that's what we're spraying in our schools.
What's it called again?
That chemical is benzalkonium chloride. So if you go to EPA.gov and look up benzalkonium chloride, you'll see it's a pesticide. It's on the pesticide list. That's what we're spraying. It's disinfectants that have chemicals like that, and other ones as well. And that's what we're, in the States especially, that's what we're spraying everywhere.
So do you want to share your screen, Jared? Thanks.
Yeah. So let's take a peek at it here. Oh, it just says it's antiseptic and disinfectant.
If you look up EPA.gov,
okay,
Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
Type it in there, you'll see the website to find it is EPA.gov /pesticide. And again, we know chloride's not great. Benzalkonium has benzene, which is a carcinogen. But yes, they are all used for disinfectants. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
say for me again. It's a big word.
It's benzalkonium, BENZAL, I think, KONIUM, and then chloride.
Is that it?
There we go. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Pesticide product.
That's pesticide.
Pesticide
okay.
label. Yeah, that's.
Okay, so it's pesticide shit.
But I wonder, like, what's its effect on people?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. So if you look it up, so when we did, and I'm not going to go into the product name, but you can look up at disinfectant manufacturers, and when you look it up, they'll have certain lists that it's attached to. Okay, that you have to watch it. So I'll look up one real quick and I'll read it off to you. But yeah, it's
kind of weird the way that kind of stuff goes on.
Right, and we don't even talk about it, but it's a problem. So this light is UVC, which is sunlight.
Yeah, because there was those findings that sunlight killed the virus fairly fast.
Yeah, so every study we found, whether it's Jerusalem, U.S., Japan did studies, they all said under 30 seconds. Our light is somewhere between 10 and 100 or 200 times more powerful, but that's also exponentially more powerful. So that's what makes it kind of unique. The power is just off the chart. So when I look up this disinfectant, it's a standard company, it's a well-known company. You do the ingredients disclosure. And then it says it's on different things are on designated lists. So one of the designated lists with benzalkonium chloride is U.S. reproductive or developmental toxicants. Do you want your kids breathing in something that's known to be a reproductive or developmental toxicant? Some of the other lists are, chemicals known by the state of California to cause cancer or reproductive toxicity. Like there's all kinds of stuff. So when we were doing the charter of yachts, we worked hand in hand with a national cleaning company here in the States. And they're the ones that first said that the products that were out there that they were used for cleaning were pesticides. And you saw the one I showed you. They say it's a disinfectant, and then you look it up under EPA.gov, and it says it's a pesticide. So that's why we got to stop using that stuff. And we were trying to get help with the aviation and the maritime world, get them back on their feet. We're still trying to get like the cruise lines, because if we got this, working in the cruise ships, they could get back to sailing. And that's what we want to do. We wanted to try and do something to try and help the world get back to normal.
Dude, we all just want to go on holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Like myself and a couple of friends, we want to head off to Spain, and some other places. It's so awful, being stuck at home at the moment.
It's true. The one thing which is true, like, so one of our marketing people wrote, we have a blog going. They have a blog going on the website, but the blog, she was talking about how we stopped hugging each other. Like, even that little contact that we were doing, it's gone. So she had, I think it was her mother or her grandmother was really sick in a nursing home, and she could never give her a hug. And it's like, that's a huge human issue for us, because we're not the same people if we can't have human contact. And obviously we all want to go throw back a few pints. I want to come to Ireland. That's where my grandmother's from. I want to come over there and throw back a few with you guys. You want to go to Spain when I get there, because I'm going to be stealing your yacht or your airplane when I get there. If you want to, where I get there, I get it.
You're a fun lad, Ken. You'll scull a few pints with us on the yacht, and then you'll repossess it from us.
Yeah,
Sound for that, man.
Get them drunk and then take their yacht.
That's Danny's move. That actually, they showed how he did that on one of the episodes. He took the owner to throw back a few beers and a couple shots. The next thing you know, his airplane was gone. So that was a fun episode.
That's beautiful. That guy is gold. That's a king right there.
Well, the best part was he got the debtor to pay for his beer.
Oh, wow.
The debtor buys any alcohol so we can take the airplane. I mean, it's brilliant, right?
That is.
Dude.
But anyway, that's what we're doing in the meantime. Hopefully we'll get back to doing the repossession soon. But I mean, for now.
There's some people not wanting to hear that sentence.
What's that?
I said there's some people who don't want to hear that, though.
Back the repossessions?
Yeah.
I think they all really want us to do it.
I'd love to see it on TV again. It's been gone since, what, 2015?
Yep. That was the last time we had. Now, again, it's on here in the States tonight, prime time.
Yeah.
It's been 4 weeks prime time. It's on next week prime time. So they really have never stopped showing the show. It's always, every year they're showing 30, 40 marathons a year.
Andy.
So I think it's time. It's time to get some new episodes out there. Use that hashtag tonight on Twitter, Airplane Repo, and let's bring it back.
Yeah, like, it's just one of those things, like, it went away, but, you're sitting there wanting more, Like,
yep.
With the kind of thing you're doing, like, there's no ending like you get in a TV show.
Right.
So, like, you want to see the action. You want to see, okay, well, it's 2021. How is that going to work now? Say, like, if you're doing it now, do you have to wear masks? Blah, blah, blah. How is it going to be now?
I take this light with me on repos. Because I don't know where the airplane or the boat's been, right? So before we board, we do put the masks on, and we sanitize the airplanes before we put the pilot on. We're not going to let him go on. So that is a consideration, and that's an extra, unless it's a jumbo jet or something, but that's an extra 15, 20 minutes we have to plan on. So if the debtor's coming, it's just that much more we have to kind of figure out, because we're not throwing people on an airplane or a boat, so we know it's clean.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And if they show up, like, what are you supposed to do? Like if they're there, like, hey, what the hell are you doing with my plane, my boat? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Talk to them. Talk them down. Let them know. I'm usually, that rip off the Band-Aid fast kind of thing. I'll just look them right in the eye, get real close to them, and kind of in a quieter tone and say, we're here to take your airplane. It's already done. Nothing you can do about it. So you need to go and call the bank. And that's kind of how we start it. And then we just kind of feed off of what the debtor is doing. I always put myself between the debtor and the asset, to try and keep him away from it. If I've got a pilot there, and the plane is disinfected, I have him pull the door up, lock himself in the airplane. If the boat is there and we're on it, we can do that. We'll untie the boat. And, while I'm talking to the guy and kind of using my body to get him away from the water, whoever's on the boat, if we have somebody on the boat, whoever's on the boat will untie the boat and kind of push it away to start to give us some space. And then at that point, the debtor kind of says, all right, this really is over. Once you kind of take that last path away from him, they'll either totally freak out or they'll walk away. Most times they walk away.
Yeah, with the whole entitled thing, you could go either way.
But my big thing is we deal with the people that have their lawyers.
Who have their
They have their lawyers, their attorneys on speed dial.
Yeah, no.
And that's
have you ever been threatened with legal
that's the whole time, yeah?
stuff?
A lot of times. A lot of times.
How well does the judge know you?
Yeah, exactly. We actually have, though, we've never been. One guy tried to sue us, but we got off without a problem. There's a couple times we went as expert witnesses, even though we're the repo agent for the bank, because the debtor sued the bank, didn't sue us. And the judge did say on several occasions that our testimony was the determining factor and was the reason why the bank got off without any issues. We do follow the rules. We're really careful about that because we know the bank's going to have to pay a huge fee if we don't. So we've been to court a bunch of times. We've been threatened hundreds of times. We've been served probably 30 or 40 times, and from that, we've been to court about 5.
That's rough. That must be a pain in the ass, like just knowing like this I don't know, this idiot's out to bringing you to court, and they're clearly in the wrong.
Yeah, it is, and the one where we
can get that far is a little bit disturbing.
It is, and the one time, again, it was an ownership transition issue, so it was a titling issue that luckily we figured it out before we went to repossess it, or the bank would have been in a ton of trouble. But his real issue was with the guy who sold him the airplane, and he won against him. But he thought he would bring the bank into it and us into it and the airport into it to see if he could profit off of it. Mm. And that's the part that sucks.
Yeah. What annoys me is, that they can afford to take you to court, but they can't afford to pay for the airplane.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's an excellent point. They don't do maintenance. They don't do hangar fees. They don't pay for the airplane, but golly, they'll get you to court in a heartbeat, won't they?
That's one weird thing in the States. You bring people to court over nothing.
We're litigious, far too much so.
I've got to ask, do you have to ask for people's permission? Just say if the debtor comes up to you, do you have to get some kind of written contract to say that you can use their face in the show, or do you usually blur it out, or how does that work?
So if you watch the show, we always have a disclaimer. And it was actually more prominent the last season, which I was happy about. That said, a lot of this stuff we have to redo the show or redo the repos a lot of times because we can't. The confidentiality is a huge issue. It's in our Fair Debt and Collection Practices Act, where they have the right to confidentiality. So if the airplane or the boat looks unique, we can't show it because then people can get it back, and trace it back to the owner. We can't show the owner. We can't do any of that stuff. So a lot of times, I have done a few that are 100% live as they happen, no transition, no change, no nothing. But most of them we have to redo because we cannot show their face or in any way breach their confidentiality.
Which is fair. I would really hate to be that guy. Regardless of how entitled they are, they're still a person. You really don't want to be that person on daytime television. Everyone's seeing whining over your boat or your plane. That is
right.
rough.
We don't want to embarrass them at all.
Yeah.
So there was one episode where they showed where I've always kind of given people an out. So if they'll work with me, I'll just tell the marina or the airport that I bought the unit. They don't need to know any different, right? And I tell them, if you keep it quiet, we'll just tell them you sold it to me and you're done. right? And then nobody has to know. And then the one time they showed it, the guys like, oh, they're going to know now. Well, they're not going to know from me. They're going to know because you're screaming. So you keep it quiet. I'll tell people, whatever, that I just bought it from you, and nobody's going to know any different. That'll be the end of that. And when we give them an out, most times they look and they're like, you would do that? I'm like, why not? I mean, I'm not trying to embarrass you here. That's not the point. And then you'll find that the one time we did that, the guy, it was a 40-year-old airplane. He's showing us all the little quirks on the airplane. He spent a half an hour with our pilot. So we've gotten thank you notes from debtors. True story from debtors for handling their repossession and giving them the dignity and respect that they deserve. So
That's
you're
nice.
right. You're right. No reason like crap.
Well, I was telling a couple of my friends about this earlier, and they were thinking that, okay, so they obviously haven't seen the show. So they were thinking like a scenario like, your man Dog the Bounty Hunter, that kind of stuff, that you show up and like you muscle them out of there. I don't know, like you arrest them, you take their plane, you go out of there, drop some missiles on, they're thinking it's just pure carnage. But from the way you've described it, it sounds like, okay, this is absolutely legal. You're doing it the only way you can. You can't even make a fucking firearm. There's no threat of anyone getting hurt, unless it's from the person getting repoed.
It's yourself, like getting hit by a car. Fuck, dude, that must have hurt.
Yeah, you're not going in there with the intent to do any bad, but it's the other person that will be at fault. And the whole reason you're there is because they're at fault.
Yes, that's. And just the guy that hit me with a car hit me at about 4 miles an hour.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's.
But I played it up good enough that I scared the crap out of him, and he ran away. Left the car running with the door open, and he just took off. Damn. So then we went in the car, we went in the airplane. The police called us inside because they happened to be there. And they're like, "Check out this tape." Okay, and they're looking at it like, "You really think we believe you got hit by a car?" I'm like, "It's all there on video." They knew that was just played up, just to kind of end it.
Yeah.
So if I smack the hood and then fall down and smack under the car and make it sound like he ran me over, and it worked. So I tell people I get hit by a car. True story. It was at 3 or 4 miles an hour, so it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. Well, you're looking well for that hit by a car. You're doing well.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's all these awards and stuff behind you? What's this all about?
Well, this is my home office. So I have some of the articles. We were voted the best repo company in the country, I think 5 or 6 straight years. So those are some of those awards here. And again, the rest are articles and personal things. But yeah, the Wall Street Journal is my pride because that was pretty cool being on the front page of that. But yeah, these are top repo companies in the country.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
By the sound of it, you sound extremely professional for a job that is a reality TV show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like what I was saying, the guys are thinking, it's something crazy. Like it just, I don't know, you're punching the guy in the face, put him in the airplane, drive off with him,
Well, I do have a bit of Philly in me that I can pull out when I need to. It's funny because when we went to St. Croix, I was joking around that, I'm not allowed to hit people in the States, but I darn sure can hit somebody if they start with me in St. Croix because that's not in the proper. Joking around, right? Well, sure enough, done some guy push me from behind, and I just reacted him and hit him. So I'm like, I'm not going to say that ever again. Like that was not the plan, but he hit me from behind, so I just turned around and clocked him, and then Danny came in and took care of the rest. So
was that okay because it was like a self-defense scenario?
It was out of the country.
Oh, okay, different country, cool.
Yeah, so the rules didn't apply. So that's why when I was flying there, I was joking around like, hey, I'm outside of the continental U.S., I'm out of the U.S. territory, whatever. I can hit somebody now. Ha ha. Yeah. And then it happens. I'm like, son of a gun. So.
Yeah, because you don't want to be in that situation. Unless you're like some kind of black belt in something or an MMA fighter. Or even at that. You don't want to be risking it.
No. And I mean, out of the country.
It seriously hurt.
Yeah. Oh, well, we were in Jamaica one time getting a couple of planes that turned out to be drug planes. Ooh. And I told Danny, I'm going to go in the office here. You go over here and just look around. Let me know what the fence line looks like. He goes around a building to look at the fence line. There's two guys sitting there with AR-15s, like, and he's like, I'm not doing this. And he walked back. I mean, he got the information. He's like, when you're out of the country, like everything is different. So he got nose to nose pretty much with a couple of AR-15s and guys that were not happy to see him. So you never know what you're going to walk into.
It must be terrifying. Oh Christ, I feel so bad for that walking up. I can't put myself in that situation. Shit, no.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Danny's seen a lot as a bounty hunter himself. He's brought like 3,500 fugitives to justice.
Oh, wow.
So he's seen a lot.
Hmm.
But when he came in office, he looked different. I'm like, yeah, all right, well, you're all right. And he kind of shook his head no for a second. I was talking to the manager trying to get to the airplane. Then he told me outside. So like it affected him. It was serious. So that's why you don't want to mix it up, because you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah. But look, it seems like you try to be safe enough. If anything happens, it's normally not on your end. It's on the client. Or not they're not a client, they're getting repoed, whatever. They'd hardly hire you to do it. You know. But yeah, seems you're safe enough. And yeah, obviously you're voted one of the most professional multiple years in a row. Doesn't come easy.
No, it's you're right. I mean, we try and follow, like I said, all the rules. We try and do things the right way. We respect everybody on both sides, and we've been blessed a little bit.
Am I hearing a bird?
Yeah, my wife has 3 birds.
Amazing.
Aw, that's
Amazing.
cool.
Whenever we're on the phone. Well, last year she fostered a mom and 12 3-week-old puppies. So when we're down to dogs and 3 birds, it's an empty house for us.
There you go. So big animal fan. So there you go.
Yes, for sure.
You know, with the job you do, you wouldn't expect you to be playing puppy dad. You know. In fairness. No, Ken, I think what you do is spectacular. Like I told you before we started, like I'm so fascinated by it. I got so many questions. But yeah, it looks like you've answered just about all of them.
Good.
Thomas, you got any left?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, but thanks for coming on, Ken. You've been an awesome guest, and we gotta
Dude,
have you on again
so
in the future.
Cool.
Like
if the show happens again.
Oh yeah.
And after if it does, and there's a full season out, I want to watch the whole thing and chat to you after.
Well, we'll be around. So if it comes back on, you'll know. I mean, we're connected on social, so you'll know it as soon as it happens. I'd love to hopefully next time I can come over to you and we'll do it in a pub somewhere.
There you go. That'll be a solid time.
I like that a lot.
There you go. But Ken, if people want to check you out, where can they find you?
I am at Ken Cage Repo on Twitter. That's the best place right now. I'm also Ken _Cage _Repo at Instagram. That's the best way right now. And we'll stay in touch, and I'll keep you posted on when the show's airing and if we ever get picked up again.
Oh, there you go. So there you go. You know where to find them. If you got this far, fair play to you. And I suppose, as we say, stay away from yourself and take it handy. Top of the morning, lads and ladies. Support for the Awfully Irish podcast is now brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels, and you're no longer need the look of the Irish with the ladies. Manscaped just launched in Ireland. We've gone years without using the right tools for the job. You can now be one of the first men in Ireland to experience their life-changing products.
Your balls will thank you.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IrishPod at manscaped.com.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code IrishPod.